Record.
We are on the record.
This is the Environmental Protection Commission special meeting and public hearing agenda. This is Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. First piece of old business is EPC 19, 2019. Paolo Sardoni at 21 Tower Drive, proposing to modify a conservation easement and restore wetlands to allow for a deck and house expansion in a regulated area. The site is shown on Assessor's Map number 1 as lot number 125. I believe the commission has a draft of the approval. And Rich, just for my edification, they're reaching out to their lawyer because the ball's in their court.
Well,
But
I've told them to
to get
hold off until they actually get approval.
Okay, so you want the approval, okay.
Yeah, no, we actually have a conservation easement for, that's recently done, that I've gone over with John Luizos
Yep.
pretty extensively with the attorney for another project, so they can use that as a template,
Okay.
so they don't have to reinvent it.
Good. Are there any comments and questions?
My main question is on, because we, in our findings, we found that the proposed future house extension is not an acceptable use of the regulated area easement, and hereby denies that portion of the applicant's proposal.
Correct.
But in the, I don't know, maybe this hasn't been updated, but in the plan, it's still here.
Well, there's a, on the front,
Potential future,
yeah, on the approved plans, it says to be revised to eliminate future building addition. And in the conditions, the site plan shall be revised to
Okay.
eliminate construction.
all right, so
So
this is
you-
not the final plan then, it will be,
It has to be, that has to be revised, correct?
okay,
That's just the most current plan,
Okay.
I mean, you discussed denying the addition, but since you haven't denied it already, they haven't, they haven't revised it.
Okay.
okay. And then I just had just a couple typo stuff.
I kind of had a question consistent with Susan's, and I think I figured it out, but well, let's raise it. In the proposed activity, page 1, I guess that's the proposed activity prior to having the house expansion be
Correct.
rejected,
That's
which
the
is why it
proposed
reads
activity.
that way.
Right,
That's the
Correct.
initial proposal.
correct,
So that would remain that way.
right.
And then in paren, in the next
Because you're
paragraph, you
denying,
talk about
you're denying a portion of it.
to be revised.
So they're asking, right, they're proposing that, and you're denying that portion. So they haven't stopped proposing that. You're denying it.
I got you, okay.
I mean, if you changed your mind, then they would,
I also have a couple of simple, I think you mean July 17
yeah.
as you start. I think you mean July 19, June of 19
oh, yeah.
in there. There's a little cleanup, which you'll see here. But then I have a question I think we should, it's more than just a typo. In the fourth line, page 3, the proposed plan corrects a situation that would not be consistent with the commission's current policy. Don't you mean would be consistent? We're encouraging
Yeah, it's-
proper care of a difficult lot? Or,
What I was referring to was the original
The
approval.
original situation,
Ah.
which is not, is in fact not consistent.
the
Correct.
proposed plan,
Yeah, I think there was some discussion that the commission would not do that, not set it up that way.
just as I asked a minute ago, the
Oh, yeah.
proposed plan,
That's a good
including
point.
the house expansion.
Did you mean that
I could say the proposed plan as revised,
to be revised?
to be
Or
revised, as,
Or
to
as
be-
amended.
As amended, yep,
To be amended, right, because we don't have that yet.
right, to be amended,
Yeah.
yep. No, that would
It
make.
corrects a situation that then would be
You're right, you're right, because
consistent,
it says the proposed plan, which refers to.
the earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'll put in to be amended, or the proposed plan, once amended.
Once amended,
Once
Okay.
amended.
yes.
Corrects a situation, and is it would not be, or is it would then be consistent?
No, it corrects the
It corrects the
situation that
situation.
is not consistent.
Yeah, that part's fine.
Okay.
The
Because the
plan.
expansion would not be consistent.
That's all the questions I have.
Okay.
Okay.
And there was a
great.
Section,
Or two, you can see.
Wait, you have something?
Oh, you have something?
Section
Sorry,
3,
Bernard.
paragraph 6, where it says the inspection shall, invasive species inspection shall take place annually for 3 years. Who is supposed to do that?
That would be done, it has to be supervised by an environmental consultant, so it would either be Chris Allen or Bill McKinney. Either one would be.
It would be an independent person that would have to report to Rich.
They're both qualified to identify invasives and supervise
Who pays for that?
the applicant.
The applicant.
Okay.
By the way, Rich, just one thing, you have 1, 2, 2, 4, 3.
Well, sorry,
Yeah,
what?
so-
And did you catch that?
Oh, 2, 3, yeah.
Wow, I missed that.
Three.
Oh,
4.
That made my night. I guess. All right, may I have a motion to approve as amended? Is that- Thank you, Susan, second. Thank you, Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item of business is EPC 25, 2015, 19 Oak Park Avenue, 19 Oak Park LLC, proposing a replacement house in an upland review area. The site is shown on Assessor's Map number 23 is lot number 19. The commission members have a proposed draft of this. There
19 Oak Park,
Yes.
so not 29 Oak Park.
Yep,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Let's see.
There's a little typo in row number 1, second paragraph, on a portion of a new garage, not this.
Yep.
Yep.
anybody have anything?
Just some little things.
Good, Arlene? Cal?
That's it?
All right. May I have a motion to approve as amended? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item of business is EPC 26, 2019, Christopher B. and Letitia M. M.A., 13 Sunswick Road, proposing a replacement house in an upland review area. The site is shown on Assessor's Map number 62 as lot number 33.
You saw my note that the zoning board of appeals denied the variance for the front lot.
Yes.
So the plan I sent out keeps the exact same distance to the wetland. It makes the house smaller and changes the configuration so that it meets the setback. They're not gonna try again in front of the ZBA. I think they're gonna go possibly for just porch, which ZBA tends to approve,
Sure.
but they're not gonna go, I don't know ZBA's reasons, and it doesn't really matter.
They do what they do. Okay. Anybody have anything to that?
I have a question under project description, the second sentence. The regulated areas consist of a wetland soil and isolated wetland. Do you mean as an isolated?
Oh,
wetland?
And?
In and?
In,
oh, I should,
in an isolated wetland, is that what it is?
yeah,
Mhm.
or just isolated in the middle of the
Isolated
rear.
wetland.
I could just say isolated in the middle of the, I could just take out the second word wetland.
So how would it read? The-
Consists of a wetland soil isolated in the middle of the rear
Oh,
lawn.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
There should be a the there, a the rear lawn. Yeah, I got that on all of them, I don't know what that.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Dan? Okay, may I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Susan, thank you, Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next order of business is EPC 27, 2019, Elizabeth and Paul Bruner, 5 Hummingbird Lane, proposing pond dredging. The site is shown on Assessor's Map number 09 as lot number 4A-2. Anybody have anything on this one?
Yeah, I don't have any comments. I know we've already approved this, but,
Well, actually, no, actually,
Disgusting.
we've discussed it. Approval will come when you.
well, it's just, I didn't realize that they were planning on, using the dredged material to mix in with topsoil. They might wanna just do some soil testing before they do that. You know, it's in the bottom of the pond.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, for their own benefit. I don't know if you can informally just advise them that they might wanna,
So we can ask them.
Pass that, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I don't, there's
before
no,
they mix some
there's
toxic
nothing-
chemicals into their lawn.
yeah, there's nothing in that watershed that worries me, but they can,
Well, we should ask
Take
them.
that.
Stuff can settle down
Yeah.
there. And anyway. it's just-
No, I think that's a good idea. Can we add a sentence in there
yeah.
to,
At least a recommendation, I don't know if they can
Yeah.
require or not, but. Also, things that settle down there can react differently when exposed to sunlight when they dry out.
Mhm.
anybody, anything else? Okay. May I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Kevin. All in favor?
Or it's just a formal, so it's-
Okay, sure, good.
New business. Shay and Ray, oh boy, Karzuski, excuse me if I got that wrong.
First try, I'm Shay.
Okay, thank you. 40 Norton Avenue, requesting to replace a wire fence and a conservation restriction area to be compliant with the building code for a pool. The site is shown on Assessor's Map number 42 as lot number 152. Okay, the, would you
Oh,
like
I'm sorry, I
to
didn't
get
know-
up
I
and
didn't know if you had
talk to
the-
us?
Okay. So I brought the large survey map, which is probably easier for everybody to see. I didn't realize I should have mounted it. Maybe I'll stand over here. No,
No, you can't, ma'am.
no.
Shane,
That's
you
okay.
have
I
to
think
speak
they-
by
Oh.
Yeah.
because this is being recorded,
Oh.
and also the people, you know, the people at home.
Thank you. Ma'am.
Well, that's very kind of you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh,
Whoops,
wow, this
Sorry.
isn't helping my
It's fine.
cause, is it?
you're doing great.
Okay. This is our new pool. And when 40 Norotan was divided, it was originally the Eddy property, subdivided to add 2 other homes behind us, and now there's a small cul-de-sac that runs behind it. When the subdivision was created, a conservation restriction area of 15 feet was put around the entire subdivision, mostly as a buffer to the neighbors, kind of from what I understand. There isn't any wetland, there isn't anything other than some nice plantings and some nice screening. So we have put the pool in here. Clock Avenue neighbors are here on this side, and this is our 15-foot conservation area. What we'd like to do in fencing the pool is add a fence, this section and back at this section in metal. So, you know, that'll be seen from the street, seen from our yard, everything else. But in lieu of running the back end in front of the conservation area, we'd like to just replace, we'd like to run a small, about a 10-foot section in on either side and then connect into the existing wire fence that's already there, but with an upgrade. The existing fence is not pool compliant. It's a larger metal fencing, and what we're looking to use is 1-by-1 pool compliant roll fencing on it rings end presents it. It's metal staked in, I think it's in the packet from what I understand. And I have more information on it if anybody needs it in the book. A couple reasons for wanting to do it this way. Number one, This whole conservation area is planted with azalea, rhododendron. It's really lovely, and it will make us really kind of sad and disappointed to have to run the fence in front where we can't get a nice look at it. We don't intend, the lawn ends in front of that area, we don't intend to expand anything. We want to keep everything just as it is. There are some trees, and by hiding this, I think it's also nicer for the neighbor. We won't have to clear any screening material, and everything can just kind of exist as it is. And I think
So the pool's in place.
the pool's in place, yes. Yep.
And no plantings or trees are gonna come out to put it?
Nothing is gonna come out, no. In fact, I might even enhance the area a little bit once we see where there are holes. But it's been like, I mean, there are probably 10 fantastic azalea. There are hydrangeas. It's a really lovely area, and it's for both the neighbor and for us. And what's interesting to note too is that the existing fence, and we'd be placing the replacement in exactly the same spot. On the other side, on the neighbor's side, it's heavily planted as well. And we're not going even as far as the property line, because that would require clearing. We want to put it exactly where it is so that everything goes into the same place. And then he'll still have screening material, and they'll still have screening material on their backside, and then we'll have it on the front. So,
Is the pool brand new?
the pool's brand new, yes.
Because I was going to say, I don't know how you, I don't know if it's the right term, but get a C of O for a
You
pool
don't-
without the
You
fencing
don't get a.
decisions made.
We don't have the C of O, we're still under
Zoning
construction.
compliant, it's zoning
Okay.
compliant.
We're still under construction. And certainly to get the C of O, yes, a fence will go in, and as I mentioned, our other option, because the fencing across the front and the fencing in this section isn't in the conservation area. So that's a certainty.
So they have the
And
option to
so
go in
the
front of the
option,
conservation.
if
Okay,
this
okay,
board
okay.
were
Thank
not to, or to deny the request,
Thank
the
you.
option would be to run it along the front line of which in fact would probably be
Thank you.
more disruptive, because the conservation area, some of those plantings spill into the lawn in a nice, so we'd have to hack things back to run it along.
Yeah,
It
they'd
would be
have to-
lovelier to leave it all as
I
is.
wouldn't be able to
This
maintain.
makes sense. I personally don't have a problem with that. I would just say, Rich, that I like the plantings, and not you, because you've been in front of it now, and now you know the lines and the conservation easements, et cetera. But for the person that would come after you, when you sell this property, we'd make it clear that, we don't want, that there would be some language in the condition for approval
Yeah.
that, I like the fact that you are gonna keep the plantings there in the conservation easement, et cetera, and I think that's great. But I just wanna make sure that the next person may not be as aware, and may decide, hey, I wanna push my backyard. I need an extra, this, and I'm gonna rip out the plants to put grass in. And considering that there's a conservation easement, that would not be acceptable to us. Okay, so, so I'm on board with you. But I would like that in there to make sure that that any successor or owner it would be clear. Okay, is that fair, Rich,
You do that?
you're okay with it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can do the same we do with the notice of your approvals on the land record.
Yep, no. That way,
Your reason- I mean, they would get a new owner would get the easement, but this would, I guess, explain,
explain to him that
Yeah.
that the owner cannot,
right?
put,
Yeah.
chop it down and put
Respect the boundary.
I know that the way the current easement reads, it does actually say that there shouldn't be any removal of shrubbery or vegetation, anything like that. It would be a crime to remove it too. It's quite.
Well, no, it's obviously,
I-
somebody's did a very good job there, so, no, you're absolutely right, and, you're in a very significant minority who understands what conservation easements are. And you're taking good care of it, so,
Who owns the easement?
It's owned by the property owners. it's an open space easement that the town is the grantee.
So
of
the
easement.
town gives approval for the fence.
No,
So-
that fence was
I think it's governed by
existing.
this, I think that's why I'm here. 'cause
That
it
fence
is
was
governed by-
existing, the wire fence.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sorry, I should have explained, there currently is a fence, it's
right,
just,
an old wire.
Yeah.
because it's a little
Yeah.
dilapidated and there are certain particulars that make it not pool code compliant, obviously, for safety reasons, so.
But if you were gonna change, like, say, a land trust property easement, then you have to get approval from the land trust to make a
Yeah.
change? So in this case, it's
It's you.
It's a conservation
Town
fee.
of
Yes.
Darien.
It is just the town.
Well,
That's
it's
what
the
I was
town of
asking.
Darien, and they're represented through us.
Us, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, it's a
Clear.
conservation.
There's no other party to this, it's just
No.
us?
It's us,
Okay.
us. Just us, the Conservation Commission, which we are.
Okay.
And, well, actually, we're stewards of the conservation, so. Okay, anybody else anybody? Okay, good.
Thank you.
You wanna make a motion?
We have to make a motion.
I mean,
Oh, do you want us to approve it, or you can write a draft?
I think you can just approve this. I don't think, it's not a wetland permit, so you
No,
don't have a
okay.
statutory requirement to hold it over another month.
Okay,
And
so
nothing-
let's,
so it's not a
okay,
permit.
Rich, as with my amendment there, to make sure that the
Yeah.
successive voters goes on the land records. May I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay.
Thank you all very much.
Yep. Next piece of new business is EPC 29, 2019, Patricia Leger, 19 Spring Grove, proposing stone wall and rain garden construction in an upland review area. This site is shown on Assessor's Map number 8, as lot number 115 and 116.
Actually, it's 10 Spring Grove. So let me put it-
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
10 Spring Grove.
Oh,
It's 10 Spring Grove,
It's
I
not 19,
apologize.
it's 10.
yes. See that on your application.
If you could introduce yourself for the record when you get a chance?
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Patricia Leger. I'm the owner of 10 Spring Grove Street, Darien, Connecticut.
Thank you.
I'm going to do this with photos because I'm better with photos than the
Good.
map. So this map shows an existing rain garden. that
You can
was-
just pick up that,
Oh, can I
yeah,
carry it?
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
fantastic. That would be good.
Thank you.
Rich, may I
There we go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, this is a rain garden that was constructed in 2016. My original permit was for this rain garden right here. It's deceptive, but this is actually about 6 feet from a flat surface. So this is about 6 feet high. And this is like 21 feet high, but I don't know why the photo doesn't show it as well. So this rain garden was constructed for us, and there's a well right here that is a constant spring. It's from the, I don't know the name of the big, what is it called when you have the big watershed area? So it's way, way back, there's a big watershed area, like off, Stephanie Lane, way, way back. So it all comes under the ground and it comes to this well over here. So it leaks down here all the time, it's constantly flowing. So my plan, this new enhanced plan, is to expand this rain garden to this ledge right here. So it will, all these walls, all this dirt will be taken out, and I presume there's a ledge just like this. It's presumption, I don't know yet till we dig. But this is ledge showing, so we presume there's ledge all in here. So it will be to enhance showing the ledge, and then have the walls around like this. And there's water right still coming out of the spring at the top, the pool's over here. So that will be to capture that water into this flowing rain garden. So that's the first part of the proposal. So way to the left of the property is a concrete wall that's trying to retain this soil up here. Right now it's just plywood holding it up because it wasn't done yet, the project wasn't done. This concrete wall will be continuing all the way across the property to a very large tree on the far right property line. And it will be covered with 2 by 12 by 8 pressure treated lumber that's stained brown. And this will all be more soil in, and then also more plantings all the way across the top to stop erosion from happening. Mr. Minow was the original owner of this property up here. He put in a whole catch basin system on his driveway, and he did some kind of retention system in the backyard. And every time it rains, all kinds of water comes down here and makes this soil very, very mushy and soft, and it gets very, very eroding. Like, so that will kind of push back on that erosion and keep the soil more firm all across the whole top of the hill. Then at the bottom of the hill, between these 2 trees, I know that the perspective is not right, but there'll be the little staircase made of that gray, whatever it's called, bluestone. So there'll be a staircase in here, and then there'll be the wall going around the back of the tree, and then another wall going that way, boulder wall like this. And then on the other side of this tree will be the boulder wall, and then it'll go around it, and then it will be in the front. Let me just get the other map. So the boulder wall, this is actually, like I said, it's higher. So the boulder wall will start at the end of that rain garden, and will proceed straight across. Well, this is deceptive, but that's probably, it just is, the perspective is not good, just the direction of the camera. But this actually is just where the stairs are, but this is actually 80 feet in here, it doesn't look it, but it's 80 feet. So rough, it's probably 65 to 70 feet. So it's gonna be a boulder wall in here, and then it goes around that tree, a staircase, and then around the other tree, and then continuing to the property line. Now, because this is 6 feet high, the boulder wall will be 6 feet high, wherever that is. And then the whole thing will be flat above it, and it'll be a big terrace of grass, all grass. From this Belgian block will be all grass in here. And then it will be around the edges, so that nobody falls off, it'll be little bushes. And then on the inside, there'll be more flowers and stuff, and bushes and things, like plantings. I'm sorry, that's the best I can do for explaining. Do you have any questions?
That's a very ambitious plan.
Yeah, but there's a lot of erosion on this property. This probably, it is, I think John Russell is the worst property in all of Darien for erosion, and he's correct.
Wow.
I have 21 houses of water, 21 houses are up here on Ridgefield. It's all going up straight, it's like steeply pitched, straight up.
You're the parallel to Camp Avenue, so.
Yes, and parallel to camp. And then it comes flying, the water comes all the way down that whole street, and then it comes flying down this property. I put tons of rock in here on the way back. It doesn't matter how much rock you put, the water is like whitewater rapids. It comes flying around. If there's a hurricane, all you see is water. Like, water is from everything. My house is an island, and it's just water everywhere around the whole property. It's horrible amounts of water, horrible. But little by little, like this is gonna retain it, the soil up there, and little by little, we're retaining things and holding things back. And hopefully with all the piping and all the stuff, it will be more stable and more retained. But it's been a very long time to get to this place, retention.
What happens when the water hits your property?
Goes in the basement, goes in the garage basement. The basement fills up the garage, fills up the basement of the house. I have some pumps in the basement, but it doesn't really stop it because it's a hurricane. It does its best, but I think the piping is going to start to, move some of the water away. Eventually, the house has to be torn down. It's definitely It's from 1907 foundation, and there's no way to keep the water out.
What's the existing rain garden do?
That actually helps a lot. That used to be like a steady stream off of the well, and it used to flow across the property constantly all day long. And there was tons of mosquitoes because it was like active water and pooled water. It would get stuck with mud, and there'd be rocks that would be stuck. It would never be nice. But this is gonna be all the water now. There's an under drain underneath the whole thing, the whole base of it. But there's still enough water on the surface that we're gonna grow plants in there. So it will be all plantings that will be fed by the spring water. But it will also, there's nothing, like there'll be a lawn on the right-hand side of the property. So it won't be like pooled water anymore, or just, messy like it used to be when it wasn't done. It was just a mess.
Joanne?
I just don't know what impact this is gonna have on anybody below.
Who's below you?
Who's below me?
No.
Okay, so, I'm in the middle of, Spring Grove Street. Across the street from me are 4 homes. They don't get as much water as I get. The water kind of goes, it hits me first. I'm the main head. And then it kind of goes into the street. And then it flows across, flows down the street. It does hit this lady Marie. She's like diagonal on Camp. And that of her side yard, let the water go down between her house and between number 5 and number 5 Spring Road and her house, which is and it goes down, and unfortunately, I feel very sorry for White Street down there, because they take all the water down at the very end of it. It's bad. In Camp Avenue, we don't have any storm drainage on Camp Avenue in our section, and eventually, I pray to God, I'm gonna put together a storm drain project plan, because we need adequate storm drainage. We need storm drainage on the Ridgeview, we need storm drainage on Spring Grove, we need storm drainage on Camp.
Well, that's a private street,
I know the problem.
so I'm sure you're aware of it more than
I'm
I am.
very
but-
aware, I'm very aware of the problems. I'm very aware of all of it. I've been here many years. So
To get the neighbors to
I know.
agree to that's gonna be
Yeah, it's a big problem.
a task.
I know the problems. But it has to be done. I mean, at least half of us understand the reality of water. At least half of us understand the damage of water. And at least half of us are tired of being flooded. But then the other half, the darn flooded, they don't want to have anything to do with us, and we fight it amongst ourselves quite a bit.
I'm sure.
But we have to just fight amongst ourselves till we get to some logic.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping whenever there's another hurricane, that some people want to get affected. Because once you're affected, you are in, you're buying in, like I have to, this is a street project, we have to fix our street, we have to save our street, we have to repair our street, we have to maintain our street. And most normal people can figure that out, but it's so hard sometimes.
I'm just worried about, what kind of, who's downstream from you? Because you're gonna be absorbing water here, I hope.
Yeah, I'm
That-
hoping
that-
that
that
was.
You'll be
Yeah.
absorbing more water than you are today.
Yes, I will too, hopefully, double water, yes.
Mhm.
I agree. I think it's gonna be an enhancement project. I'm trying to make it an
Yeah.
enhancement project to help the property, because before this time period, it was very, very difficult.
Mhm.
Very, very, very difficult.
How has the storm today affected you?
Actually, it wasn't that at all. It was okay. I didn't go to my basement, but I'll check when I get home. One time I had a 1-inch storm in my basement, at 8 inches of water, and I still couldn't figure out how a 1-inch storm could do that until I talked to somebody, and they said all the underground water table was so high that it just pushed up. That's what they said, but,
Mhm.
but it depends on the water table, I guess. But because my foundation is 1907, it needs to be replaced.
Mhm. Jim, you have anything?
I said one comment, the engineer talks about erosion controls to be installed as necessary, but he should actually show them. He should
Yeah.
show where they go.
Oh,
You can just mention that to him.
On the
Like,
plan.
you can make that a condition.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
There, on here,
okay.
so that gets
He should,
approved.
he should figure out what you might need. Probably, maybe double row silt fence, something like that, because it is steep.
Yes,
So maybe a double row or a reinforced silt fence or along those lines.
okay.
So he mentions it, but he doesn't show it.
And Rich, can the engineer talk to you for his questions about what we actually
Yeah.
require?
Yeah,
So you can have
sure.
him call Rich.
Okay, okay.
On this
I
drawing,
don't know Mr. DeAngelis, but he's,
what is this area? This right here that comes off Spring Grove?
Oh, that's a paper road. Okay, so that's a paper road called Ridgeview. So Ridgeview actually in the 1900s, I believe, they said this. But it used to be from Spring Grove Street, and there used to be actually the person's driveway to the right of me. It went right up the hill to Ridgeview, but I think, I don't know how they could have possibly gone up that steepness, but maybe it was differently graded back then. But then it became a paper road because it became so steep. It was a lot of erosion and stuff, and then it stopped being a real road. But it's still on paper that this is Ridgeview Ave, the continuation of Ridgeview Avenue, right to the right of my property.
Mhm.
So it's a paper road.
Learned something new.
Me too. Yeah. All right, anybody else have any questions?
I have none.
No? Okay. Okay, well, Rich, we can write that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to the public hearing. EPC 9, 2019, Sandra Lovegrove, parcel B-2 Valley Forge Road, proposing construction of a new residence and related site construction in upland review area. This and a sewer force main in a wetland and water course. The site is shown on Assessor's Map number 2 is lot number 29-A. The hearing has been kept open from June 5th for Health Department approvals. That was not, we don't, is there anything new there, Rich?
no, they do have health department approval,
Oh, they do?
yes. So that was the only reason you kept the hearing open. And you requested that, provided they got approval, that that's why I
Yeah.
drafted
And then, so,
the decision.
so I guess the first piece of business is to close the public hearing.
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Kelly. All in favor?
Right.
Okay, public hearing's closed. All right, let me find. Okay. Anybody have comments or questions?
Minor, the revenue rules are wrong.
Yeah.
There's 2 twos.
Oh, yeah.
In addition to that, the only other question I had, Eric, was on page 3 in the second paragraph from the top.
Mhm.
I think it would read better the second to last sentence. Today it reads, "This change significantly also improved the plan." I think the sentence should start with the word "also," comma. "This
Okay.
change significantly improved the plan."
Mhm.
But then that same sentence ends,
Oh.
is with a participle, it just ends
It's missing.
with the
a-
word "with."
We have
It needs
question.
something.
Yeah.
Native planting.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Second one, too.
Okay.
Was this really still open from April 3rd?
Well, we
Well,
opened, well.
it was opened April 3rd and nothing happened, so it was continued to May.
Nope. We had a.
So you took two,
We opened it as a courtesy so we could have a public hearing May,
Right.
right? And so it's like, okay, we accept the application formally, and we'll have a public hearing on it so they could get,
Got it.
and then, let's say, we had lots of good conversation. on that, and then,
You took this to the limit of the statutory time frame. Doesn't happen often, but it did with this one.
yep. All right, anybody have anything else on this one?
Just a
Okay.
bullet, random bullet on the
Yep.
second page.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Susan, thank you, Kelly, all in favor? Okay, good. Next item of business is EPC 24, 2019, Stephen J. Wilkos, 1 Rockwell Lane, proposing pool spa construction in an upland review area. The site is shown in Assessor's Map number 3 as lot number 30.
Hello,
Good
I'm
evening.
I'm Cheryl Russ. I'm a registered landscape architect with Wingate Company representing the homeowners of 1 Rockwell Lane.
Could you spell your last name, please?
RUSS.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So we are proposing to install a hot tub that encroaches the wetland setback or the upland review area by about 10 feet. And we also, I believe you now have the drainage information. So, because I know that was kind of an issue last time. So with the drainage, we're not encroaching the setbacks either. I mean, we're just adding on to here, which doesn't affect this level spreader, which I believe was one of the points of contention from the neighbor for the last project. So we made sure that we weren't going to be causing any sort of additional water to go to that level spreader. And again, as I mentioned last time, I mean, the main reason why we kind of put this spa in this area is because of all of these setbacks that we have to adhere to. And then also, I think you brought up, or you mentioned putting the spa right next to the pool, but just the fact that that spa is gonna be a 4-season spa, having that spa next to a closed pool was just something that the homeowners were concerned with having guests over being next to a closed pool and with kids.
Commission members?
So is that a revision to what we're looking at, Rich? That looks
No,
like your
this is-
spa has been pushed farther away because there's,
Now, this is the engineering plan,
so we don't see what,
so you don't
It's
see
on that
the,
board.
well, it's the same,
Same
it's a different
distance.
scale.
Yeah, different scale, sorry.
okay. Yeah,
same-
sure it is,
Same
okay,
design,
yeah,
different scale. And they're showing the
furniture. and-
furniture and,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just,
And there was quite a bit of interest in this lot when it was developed, and,
I remember.
but the engineering is required whether there are wetlands or not. It's the same process, so they would have needed, and they went out and got McCord, Tom Nelson from McCord to design the engineering. I haven't had any feedback from anyone, but Darren did review it, and Darren's satisfied with it. He did have a comment
they're gonna
related to drainage regarding, I passed on to Tom Nelson regarding the piping, being tight pipe.
Yeah, and I think he did up-
Bentonite seal.
He did update it
Okay,
accordingly.
Right.
you can add that.
Please tell them to stay out of the wetlands.
Okay, got it.
Okay, because last time, of course, we're never gonna go to the wetlands, we would never do that, right? And, I drive by there once in a while, and, because it was a site of interest, let's put it that way. And, and I would see machines there, and it was sort of like, guys, okay? So, next time, I'll escalate, okay? Okay, I'll escalate, and we'll take, because I don't want things in the wetlands. Okay, and I'm sure you don't, and I'm sure, okay, but I saw what I
I'm
saw.
a landscape architect.
I saw what I
We're
saw.
trying to make,
I saw what I saw, and so, I just wanna make sure that,
yeah, we're a
because
different
if
company
if it
too.
comes from you, I'm sure you're very persuasive in telling them that they'll take care.
Yeah, I actually work for the company that's doing the installation work too.
Oh, good.
So I'm right there.
Oh, good, so you can tell
I
your
work for a
colleagues.
design build company.
Tell your colleagues.
Absolutely.
Tell your colleagues. Is there anybody from the public who would like to speak? Good, come on. Why don't you have a seat? And so let the, let her speak, so.
Hi, I didn't see all this, my name.
Oh, you need to go up
Yes,
Please,
please.
in the front.
and introduce yourself for the record, please.
Well, thank you.
Please say your name and your address.
My name is Elaine Scott. My address is 655 Hollow Tree Ridge Road, and we're the ones with the level spreader. So I think we have possibly a very amicable solution to whatever problems there may be there, and I'm very appreciative that they're watching out for that level spreader, because it was a bone of contention, because it was off shooting the water all the time, and kind of still is. So we were concerned about the saturation of the tree roots in that area, which is still kind of ongoing, and the erosion, because it's eroding right down into the little brook where it's draining. We thought a solution to that might be, if it's amenable to everyone, is instead of the perforated pipe, which is a little bit underground, spreading the excess water further, but it's still going through the soil and coming out into the brook along with silt. What if we attached a solid pipe, a non-permeable pipe there, and piped it directly down into the brook? So that would stop it from being soggy in that area at all. It would protect the tree roots so that they're not constantly saturated, which is a concern. It would stop that puddle that's at the end of Timber Lane, and we would allow that. We'd like to work, with whoever's going to be putting it in to just make sure it's as unobtrusive as possible and not damaging in any way. But if it goes directly from the level spreader into the ground without being, let go and soaking the area surrounding, I think a lot of that problem will be solved.
Okay. Rich?
I think if the two parties willing to work, I would get Tom Nelson to take a look at that. I wouldn't tie it to this permit, though. It has nothing to do with the pool spot. But if they're willing to do that, I think that would be something you look at between now and the time the commission
Be very
approves it.
happy
Sure.
to do
I
that.
don't think you can condition it on this.
No, it has, it's two separate issues. I agree with Rich, it's two separate issues, because they already have the permit, but I think as, being neighborly,
Yes, absolutely.
okay,
That's
being
what we want.
neighborly and.
So if you could coordinate Tom Nelson to take a look, he's not familiar, he was not the
No, he
design
wasn't the
engineer,
original.
so he may not be familiar with what's out there now, because he wasn't looking on
He
Rock
definitely
Road.
wasn't looking at the levels,
No.
he was looking more towards the
Right,
middle, but
I understand.
absolutely.
So you're saying you want a solid pipe from,
That's what we're proposing, bless you, if that makes some sense to everyone. I think it would stop the erosion of the trees, it would stop the puddle in the marshy area at the end of Timber Lane, it would stop the erosion of the silt down into the culvert there,
Okay.
which could be a problem. Our concern, the reason I'm here tonight, and why I'm very happy to hear you say we're avoiding that level spreader, is because we thought that an additional solid pool being put into the ground would once again raise the water table in the area, which has been a problem around the foundation of the house, which is why it's giving off water all the time, and the pool would make it worse. So we thought we better address it now before it gets any
the
worse.
pool doesn't displace groundwater, but what the town considers it is an impervious surface. So even though there's storage in the pool,
Right,
the town doesn't allow for infiltration. So the new infiltrators allow for infiltration as if it were a solid surface. Some towns allow you to use the pool for storage,
For the inboard, yeah.
yeah, for the freeboard. But
Freeboard.
Darien's much more conservative in that way. So they're treating it as if it's solid, even though it's even though there's 5 inches or so of storage, and infiltrating that water, which has nothing to do with the level spreader.
okay, good.
Entirely
That's great
separate.
news. I'm really hoping that this is just gonna be laid to rest, solved once and for all.
Okay.
And everything will be very
Can I,
amicable.
move this forward, can I ask Tom Nelson, could you ask Tom Nelson,
No,
because he's a
I-
member of your firm, right?
No,
No,
he's McCord Engineering.
Oh, he's McCord, okay,
Yeah.
I apologize. Could you coordinate that?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
coordinate
with
that.
this-
I'll take
with
your
this
number,
guys?
Yes.
and then I'll talk to the homeowner as well.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely,
We
talk to the
want it.
He'll
homeowner.
have to look,
And
he'll
then-
have to look at what was designed. and-
Absolutely.
And since you're representing the applicant on this, could you then get back to Rich?
Sure.
And just say, hey, whatever the agreement or non-agreement is, okay? I personally would like to know as CPC, because so when I go by, I can watch it, and, but I'd like to But I'd like to know the solution to that, and Rich, you can tell us next meeting,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, is that fair?
Thank you
Scott,
so
is
much.
that fair?
Thank
Great.
you. Let's talk.
Thank you. Okay, given that, can I have a motion to close the public hearing? Okay, anyway, so
Well, who was 1 and 2?
1 and 2, okay. I have to
The
give-
usual.
The usual,
Okay.
the usual, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, thank you very much, that closes that public hearing. Okay, moving on to agent approvals. Moving on to agent approvals. No action is necessary unless the commission receives an appeal of the approval within 15 days of the publication date. Of publication per section 12.2 of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Regulations. EPC 28, 2019. John and G. Marie Saura,
Skura.
thank you. 27 Brush Island Road, proposing dock ramp construction in upland review area. The site is shown on assessor's map number 56 as lot number 16. And then, Rich, just,
And Deep already approved the dock.
What's that?
Deep already approved
Yes,
that.
they approved the dock locations. So it's- yeah. And P and Z will also have to review it for CAM.
okay. That's one of the new ones?
That's a relatively new house.
We approved it once.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's probably been over 2 years under construction,
Mhm.
or well, it was finished about two years ago,
Yeah.
maybe 2 years ago.
I seem to remember that, yeah. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Moving on, EPC 30, 2019, Ruchi Sharma and Neil Mehta, 22 Oak Park Avenue, proposing a house addition in an upland roof area. The site is shown on assessor's map number 23 as lot number 22. By the way, Richard, could you get, maybe you have it, the applicant didn't sign it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, I assume there's no issue, but,
Oh, I'm sorry, I have a letter authorizing Lance Zimmerman
Oh,
to sign it, to
fine.
be the agent. I
Fine.
forgot about that one, yeah.
okay. Okay. Any questions for Rich? Okay. Next one, minutes, June 5th, 2019. Page 4, second to last sentence. There's one too many F's in it there. Otherwise,
I had that and a couple of small typos, which I can just pass to Rich, and
Please do.
it'll help
Great.
clean those up.
And my favorite was moving a meadow area. I had a couple things, so that one, the, presumably was milling. Page 4, third paragraph, Mr. Jewson and the commission is wearing 2 hats for this application, acting as the, this is wetland agency, but I think we should write out the formal name, the Inland Wetland and
Okay.
Watercourses Agency. And then, third paragraph from the bottom, Ms. McKenzie questioned the need for the addition. I feel a bit uncomfortable with that because I have
Okay.
no idea what the applicant's needs are. I was questioning more the appropriateness of the
Okay.
addition within a conservation easement.
Want me to say that?
Yeah.
Appropriate.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's a good point.
And then other just minor typos. stuff.
Okay, anybody, anything else you want to, okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Colin. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, other business, watershed stewardship education program. I was gonna say, get out my calendar. What I was gonna suggest is if we can, Rich, if we could get someplace in town hall next week, Susan, would that be,
I'm around next week.
you're around next week? Okay. And, I'll be there, Rich will be there. I know Jeremy, you probably represent Jeremy for the.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, Jeremy's always welcome, but,
Mhm. Did you have let me,
Do you have a preferred day?
no, I was gonna throw it open, see what,
How much time do you think we would need?
maybe an hour. We'll start with an hour and then, we can always,
Okay.
if you could bring a couple of copies of your brochure,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
to,
I can make copies of anything. you
oh,
bring.
okay, great, Rich,
So if you
thank you.
bring a copy, I'll make
Um,
however many you need.
So, how about next Wednesday afternoon? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Would that be good?
Mhm.
2 o'clock,
When?
On Wednesday, the 24th?
Wednesday, 24th.
I'm in Boston.
Okay.
Somewhere at town hall.
Yep. Rich, if you could,
I'll try for 2:13, if not 2:13, I'll try for this one.
someplace like that, so, that'd be great. And, okay. Did we get that, so I was asked by Jamie what was going on with that, so,
Now I have a meeting.
so, you're, okay,
Great.
so we'll work on that. I guess there's no other business, given that this is a special
You were
meeting?
targeting 2:30.
Yep, the next,
2,
Two, is it 2 o'clock?
2.
Oh, 2 o'clock.
2:13 was the,
2:13 is the room, I'm gonna try again, I'll let
So
folks
2
know.
p.m.
okay, the next EPC meeting is Wednesday, August 7th.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to get a sense of who's gonna be
I
around.
will not be here.
I will not be here.
Okay,
August 7th, I will be around.
okay,
Probably.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably
All right.
will be around.
That's only 4, and Michael's not here, so do you want to just have a special meeting in August?
Let's contact, can you reach out to Michael?
Yeah,
Reach out to Michael, see if he's, see if he's gonna be.
yeah, I'll see, make sure.
Yep, speak, and, tell him we need it for
If
quorum.
we don't have a quorum, then we don't.
We don't have a quorum, and it should be a very quick meeting since
I
we
would think
covered a
so.
lot of business.
Yeah.
Since it'll be
Well-
only 2 weeks.
Yeah, you'll have a vote or two, one vote and 2 votes
Mhm.
on Spring Grove and,
Nothing in the pipeline.
nothing that I can think of that's, other than having to receive an application. I know
Okay, that's something.
somebody wants to dredge a pond, I know that, so things like that.
Okay.
So anything,
Okay.
as long as,
I'm away 7th and 14th.
Okay.
I'm here it's 21st, so.
Oh, good. Okay, well, if we need to then.
So if we need a special meeting, 21st.
yeah, I'll try to avoid the
21st.
special meeting, hopefully
Yeah,
Michael.
I'm here the 14th, but not the 21st.
Okay.
It's August.
It's August, exactly. But, and it's August, so business dies down too, so, but if you could reach out to Michael so we have,
Yeah, if nothing
So,
else,
we-
just to be able to accept applications would be
Yes.
good, yeah.
okay. Okay, I guess that's it. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, John. All in favor? Okay. Good night, Channel 7.